Someone dies today, and within hours, people know exactly what to do. A phone call, a ceremony, a grave, a ritual that feels almost automatic. But the real answer is far stranger. Because the moment a human being dies, your brain begins doing something that no other species on Earth seems to do in quite the same way. It tries to understand an absence. It tries to make sense of a person who is suddenly gone, even though every memory insists they should still be here. And that story began long before cities, religions, or written history. Imagine standing on a cold prehistoric plain. No hospitals. No priests. No cemeteries. No words for grief as you know them today. Just a small group of humans staring at a body that will never move again. What would your ancestors have done? For a very long time, scientists assumed the answer was simple. They probably left. Nature would take care of the rest. After all, death is common in the animal kingdom. Predators die. Prey die. Life continues. But archaeology kept revealing something unexpected. Again and again, researchers discovered ancient bodies that had not been abandoned. They had been placed carefully, protected, sometimes surrounded by objects, sometimes covered with flowers, pigments, or tools. Why would people invest precious time and energy in someone who could no longer contribute to survival? That question has fascinated anthropologists for decades, because it points toward one of the deepest mysteries of human evolution. The moment humans stopped seeing a body as merely a body. One of the most famous discoveries comes from Shanidar Cave, in present-day Iraq. There, archaeologists uncovered Neanderthal remains that appeared to have been deliberately buried. Pollen found around one skeleton led some researchers to suggest flowers may have been placed beside the dead. The interpretation remains debated, but the possibility changed everything. Because if Neanderthals perform symbolic acts around death, then the roots of mourning may stretch far deeper into the past than anyone imagined. Think about what that means. To place flowers beside the dead, even if only occasionally, requires more than instinct. It suggests memory, meaning, perhaps even love. Could your ancestors have mourned much like you do? The evidence becomes even more compelling when researchers look at other ancient sites. At Kafsa Cave in Israel, early modern human burials dating back tens of thousands of years reveal bodies positioned intentionally. Some were buried with objects. Others appear to have been treated with unusual care. These discoveries tell a remarkable story. Humans were not simply disposing of bodies. They were creating experiences around death. And experiences require imagination. To understand why this matters, imagine encountering death for the first time. Not reading about it. Not seeing it in a movie. Experiencing it directly. A person laughs one day and is silent the next. Their face remains. Their body remains. Yet something essential has vanished. Where did it go? That question may have transformed human history. Psychologists often discuss something called theory of mind. It is the ability to imagine another person's inner world. To understand that others possess thoughts, desires, fears, and experiences separate from your own. Humans excel at this. Your brain constantly models other minds. But death creates a strange problem. The mental model remains active even when the person is gone. You still expect them to speak. You still imagine what they might say. You still hear echoes of them in memory. Research by cognitive scientists has suggested that human minds may naturally struggle to represent complete non-existence. The body is gone. Yet the social person remains vivid inside the imagination. Could this be one reason burial rituals emerged? Perhaps rituals helped ancient humans solve a problem that existed inside the mind itself. A way to reconcile physical reality with emotional reality. A bridge between what happened and what felt impossible. Anthropologist Robert Hertz argued more than a century ago that death rituals are not merely about bodies. They are about social transformation. The community must adjust to the disappearance of a person who occupied a unique place within it. That insight still feels surprisingly modern. Because when someone dies today, much of the ritual is not for the dead. It is for the living. It helps people process change. Your ancestors may have discovered the same truth tens of thousands of years ago. Yet death rituals served another purpose as well. They strengthened groups. Imagine a small band of hunter-gatherers. Every member matters. Every relationship matters. Losing one individual creates uncertainty. Fear spreads quickly. What happens next? A shared ritual provides structure. People gather. They tell stories. They remember. They reaffirm bonds. In a world filled with danger, that social glue could have been enormously valuable. Evolution does not only shape muscles and bones. It also shapes behaviors that help groups survive. If mourning rituals increased cooperation and trust, those traditions may have become powerful cultural tools. The archaeological record hints at this repeatedly. Bodies are often found in locations that suggest planning rather than convenience. Certain sites were revisited across generations. Some graves contain objects that required effort to obtain. Why spend scarce resources on the dead? Because the act itself may have communicated something important to the living. You belong here. You matter. You will be remembered. Those messages create stronger communities. Another fascinating clue comes from red ochre. This natural pigment appears in numerous prehistoric burials around the world. Bodies were sometimes covered in bright red powder before burial. No one knows exactly why. Perhaps it symbolized blood. Perhaps life. Perhaps rebirth. Or perhaps something entirely different. Yet the pattern appears again and again. When unrelated groups, separated by vast distances, perform similar symbolic acts, researchers pay attention. It suggests certain ideas resonate deeply with the human mind. Death seems to be one of those ideas. Archaeologist Paul Pettit has spent years studying the origins of human mortuary behavior. His work highlights how treatment of the dead offers rare insight into ancient cognition. The choices people made reveal how they understood themselves. And that may be the most important point of all. Every burial tells two stories. One about the person who died, and one about the people left behind. When humans began caring for the dead, they were also defining what it meant to be human. The story becomes even more intriguing when you compare humans with other animals. Many species react to death. Elephants sometimes linger near bones. Certain primates show signs of distress when companions die. Some animals remain beside deceased group members for extended periods. These behaviors are moving. They suggest emotional depth. Yet humans go further. Humans build monuments, create myths, tell stories, preserve names, imagine futures beyond death. Somewhere along the evolutionary journey, grief became culture. And culture changed everything. Once stories entered the picture, death could no longer remain a biological event. It became a narrative event, a community event, a psychological event. The dead continued influencing the living through memory. That influence may have altered human behavior in profound ways.